ceasefire, which is actually a very fragile ceasefire, the harsher that Lebanon will be hit. This is the way I say it. The game between the U.S. and Iran, the best description for it is a chicken game. You know what's a chicken game?
No.
The chicken game, you used to see it in much of the Western movies.
Yes.
The chicken game is that when you have two trains facing each other and they are running at the maximum speed, and let us see who is the coward to stop first. This is a chicken game.
Yes, Dr. Nihal Fahmy, the Professor of Political Science, thank you very much for being with us tonight on Nile TV International. And we welcome our dear guest over the phone, Mr. Sherif Rezq, the political analyst. Thank you once again for joining us on Nile TV International and this special coverage and the special edition regarding the situation in Lebanon.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much once again for being with us tonight on Nile TV International regarding the latest updates in Lebanon. How do you see the current situation and the violations by the Israeli airstrikes against South Lebanon and other installations in Lebanon in general, and specifically targeting the Hezbollah infrastructure and members, could be affecting the whole Middle East and the region at large, especially that we do know that having a ceasefire in Lebanon is one of the main sticking points for having an even bigger ceasefire and more permanent truce and the ceasefire between the United States and Iran in the Middle East?
There are lots of things related to the issue.
Yes.
Not just the war. The war is it's on the surface. But if you look at it deeply, the gravity of a war in Lebanon, with its massive displacement and strategic stakes, dominates the news cycle nowadays, right? Everybody's talking about it. Making the bribery case and the fraud charges against Netanyahu, case 1000 and case 2000 and case 4000, feel like secondary issue in Israel, back in Israel. So this could be part of the game played in politics. Because when they are at war, they wouldn't actually discuss the bribe and the corruption that he's accused of. And you find that this is uncalled for. Like once they stopped in Iran, he got back and they started attacking Lebanon. Of course, part is to be blamed on the Hezbollah and the strategy of Iran and the big mouth strategy of Hezbollah, that they are trying to attack Israel, and they know that in the power dynamics they are not as powerful as Israel. Yeah, this is of course a basic thing, but basically the game is very big.
On the other hand, Mr. Sherif, how do you see the prospects of mediation by the American President Donald Trump, as he did once before, to be reaching this ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon in general, and more specifically the Hezbollah forces in South Lebanon? How do you see the prospects of having another mediation effort by the American President to be stopping the aggression completely from the Israeli occupation forces against Lebanon?
This is part of the game. I mean, the discourse of Trump is not to be trusted. Trump is not trusted anywhere in the world, because he might give us a statement one day and then the following day he might say something that's quite the opposite. But basically, I think Trump has reached to the conclusion that waging war against Iran and waging war against Lebanon is not practically beneficial to the U.S. or to its policies in the Middle East. So they are just spending too much money, and the gains are not actually tangible. So I think out of despair, he wouldn't actually find a point in continuing to support Israel in that scenario, and he wouldn't hesitate to actually get rid of Netanyahu. But Trump is Trump. Okay, Trump has to be in the picture, has to be the one who controls the game, and that's dangerous, not just for the Middle East, but it's also dangerous for the Americans. Because once it's a one-man show, the game is very dangerous. Because part of the thing is that Trump is very whimsical. Like we don't see, we cannot. It's not. There's no predictability. We cannot know what's going to happen next. So that's part of the problem, that if you mediate today, maybe he would find a better deal tomorrow than he would just give you up.
In your opinion, Mr. Sherif, as we did see the tensions in the Middle East for the past couple of months, do you think that the conflict in Lebanon, the assaults, the airstrikes, the attacks by Israel against Lebanon for the past few weeks, and more specifically for today, could be evolving into a bigger conflict, especially that we do know that they are trying to be attacking one of the biggest arms for Iran in the region, which is Hezbollah?
Well, technically there's no conflict. Technically Israel is in control.
Yes.
I mean, Hezbollah, no matter how many missiles that they've got, they are not as strong as Israel. So sooner or later, Israel is controlling the amount of power they are putting in. I mean, it's not a full-scale war. It's just to keep the war going, that's all. And then attacking civilians is very harsh and cruel and callous. Still, they don't care much.
Yes, and for the past couple of months as well, we have seen political unrest and protests against both leaders of the US and Israel, and more specifically about Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister, and we have seen several protests against him, and protests calling for to be withdrawing from the war against Iran and to be stopping the aggression against the Gaza Strip in the past and to be stopping the attacks, as he mentioned, against Lebanon. Do you think that those internal domestic pressures could be bearing fruit in the near future?
I don't think in the near future, but I think in a few years' time, they will have a very good effect on the policies and the strategies and even the legalization and the legal system and the power given to the president in the USA. I mean, like they will need to review what's going on when you give so much power to one person. That's what's happening. So there will be lots of reviews, but right now I think they are tied-handed because both the Congress and the Senate are Republicans, so they control everything. But once we reach to November this year and the election of the Senate and the Congress, and then we might see different power balance in the U.S. The Democrats might control one of the two houses or the two houses, so they will kind of control the movement and what Trump is doing, because actually he's acting as if he were a king, as if he has got absolute power, and basically is getting some absolute power, which is really warning. It's alarming.
And speaking about the United States negotiating a more permanent ceasefire with Iran and Israel violating once again the ceasefire with Lebanon, as we did see it doing the same against the Gaza Strip several times since November of 2025. Do you think that the ceasefires being negotiated nowadays, especially involving countries like the United States and Israel, are just tools for de-escalation, not stopping the whole aggression or not stopping the war between both sides?
They only stop when they have to, like when they are pushed too hard. For Trump, only when he finds it futile, like he wouldn't benefit much out of, they would stop. But for Netanyahu, I think it's a matter of survival. He doesn't want to face back home the accusations of bribery and corruption. So it's very complicated. It's become like corruption of politicians that lead to the loss of lives for people who are innocent, who have nothing to do with war, who have nothing to do with what's going on, and then they find themselves lost, which is really dramatic.
And finally, Mr. Sherif, how do you see the role of diplomacy? As you mentioned, the political path in terms of ending those violations by the Israeli assaults and the Israeli airstrikes against Lebanon, and on the other hand, to be ending the negotiations going back and forth through mediator Pakistan between the United States and Iran and reaching a more permanent solution for the Middle East?
No, I think that's an act. There is no diplomacy. I mean, diplomacy is a language that Trump doesn't understand. He only understands how to be forced. If he's forced to step back, he would step back. Otherwise, he wouldn't step back. But the voice of reason, logic, being strategic, thinking about international relations, caring about human lives, that's not part of his vocabulary.
Yes, Mr. Sherif, Rezq, the political analyst, thank you very much for being with us tonight on Nile TV International, and this special edition coming your way for the latest updates in Lebanon and the Israeli airstrikes targeting it. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.